Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the center. Hope everybody's doing well. I know everybody's in the perfect place. Today we're going to talk about our inner resources, and you can imagine what they are. We'll start out by knowing that you're supplied and supported. You're one with the one. You're an inlet and outlet of God consciousness. So with all that in mind, you must realize that you have tremendous power at your disposal. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about a subject I spoke of not long ago from a different angle, about gratitude. Gratitude will change. I've been learning this week as I've been studying more. Gratitude has the possibility of changing your brain. Gratitude has been called the mother of all virtues. So if the mother of all virtues is gratitude, you can imagine. The practice of gratitude seems to encourage the development of other virtues, such as patience, humility, serenity, wisdom, optimism. And of course, all of that can affect your mental outlook. It can, in fact, impact the wiring of your brain. Throughout history and around the world, religious leaders and philosophers have extolled the virtues of gratitude. Some have even described gratitude as the social glue that fortifies relationships between friends and family and even romantic partners. And it serves as the backbone of human society. Again, the mother of all virtues. But what exactly is gratitude? And where does it come from? Why do some people seem to be naturally more grateful than others? And are there ways we can foster more feelings of gratitude? And are there more, what kind of ways can we learn to express more gratitude if it has such a profound effect on our physiology and really the world we demonstrate? Scientists are now understanding better the biological roots of gratitude, the various benefits that accompany gratitude, and the ways that people can cultivate feelings of gratitude in their day-to-day lives. Gratitude works to improve our mental health, as I said before. In our teaching, in the religious science teaching, we're always practicing the presence. And if you're able to keep switching your thoughts towards knowing that God is here and now, it's going to make you grateful. So our teaching can help people achieve great benefits in a much shorter time than many other approaches that people know in therapy. Not knocking therapy, but we have a practice that goes to gratitude more quickly. Recent evidence suggests people who consciously remind themselves of what's good or their blessings tend to be much, much happier. Gratitude will expand also. It'll expand your very consciousness. And as those of you who are students of our teaching, you'll know as your consciousness is expanded, all the doors of creativity open. If you're coming from a place of gratitude, you're opening up, as David Walker used to talk about, avenues in mind towards greater health, wealth, creative expression. Just about everything you could ever want can come from this consciousness. So it's really kind of profound and it's important. And I think it's something many of us take for granted in this sense. We know it would be a good idea to be grateful, but to really work at being that is the work. And as we create these avenues in mind through gratitude, you're opening up things to you because the universe is just saying yes, yes, yes to that open expression of love and appreciation that's coming naturally from you, or maybe not so naturally, because for many of us, we don't do it. Many of us are very critical, and we're critical of ourselves, we're critical of others, and in a way, you're just stopping the flow of all the good that could certainly be present in your life. So Ernest Holmes, the famous quote, "There's power for good in the universe greater than you, of which you're a part." So he's saying you're one with that power, right? And you can use that power. So how do you tap into that? Well, gratitude is one of the ways. I was told years ago it is a causative agent. If I were in a 12-step room, which I was 40 years ago, they would tell me to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. I didn't know how important it was. It is. So there's a process or intervention that they taught me when I was a therapist, and you can use the process also, and many of you already know what it is. It's called reframing. Okay. So how do you reframe something? What does that mean even? To me, it's pretty obvious, but may not be so obvious to everyone. Whatever it is that you're spinning about anything that's negative, you have the ability to see it differently. You have the ability to tell yourself a different story, because certainly you're telling yourself a story anyway. So the question is, how's your story working out for you? How's that story working out of lack and limitation and nobody cares and nobody loves me and poor me and ain't it awful? How does that work out? So with the tool of reframing, you can challenge yourself to see whatever the heck it is you're seeing from a different vantage point. Reframing, if Bill Tolliver were alive, one of my teachers, he said, we're in the business of changing the lesser ideas that we hold on to for the greater. Again, so our business, our practice is to change the lesser ideas that we're harboring, the old tapes, the nonsense, the self-imposed nonsense that Alan Cohen would describe as a sin. We're in the business of changing that type of thinking, the lesser into the greater. So as we reframe, we learn to reframe, we understand this is a really important tool for us to learn, to change the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we behave. And as we do that, we're going to bring forth happiness and gratitude. For example, a teenager is upset that she doesn't make the Girl Scout soccer, or the girls' soccer team. She's really upset. If she understands this process of reframing, if she's, talking to parents or people who could help her, maybe she just has learned it on her own, she could reframe it by asking herself, what's the positive thing that can come out of this? I'm not on the team. So what's the good in this for me? And perhaps she'll realize there's many other things she could be doing that she might actually enjoy doing more. Or simply saying to herself, this is a reframing also, good will come of this. And that's a person who has the faith and understands what we teach, which would be perfect place, perfect time, and all the time. But not everyone has that understanding yet when they're first coming to see us. So the thing is, we want to learn that tool of reframing whatever it is that we're putting a spin on that's making us feel bad, whatever it is that we're saying that's not life-giving. If you're experiencing rejection in your life in any way from a boss or a loved one, or you're just dealing with, the tough things of life, you have an important tool in that you can reframe anything. See, there's a saying I've loved for some 25 years, which is, I am not the victim of the world I see. Never. Sometimes I've been a volunteer, which means I've gone along with a bunch of stuff, and then you feel really terrible. But the fact of the matter is, you're engaging with people. And if energetically you're feeling like you're victimized, that's purely an optional thing. You can let go. And you can say to yourself, I am not a victim of the world I see. I can reframe this, I can see this, I can even thank that person who's bringing me all these wonderful gifts of rejection and all this stuff that he or she is bringing. And I can thank them for showing me some aspect of myself that would lead me to a place of knowing I deserve much better. And grateful to them for what they've shown you, and let go. One thing we know is we live in an abundant universe. And when we think that we need something, some job, some person so desperately, that's a big fib that we're telling ourselves. So as we let go and as we know the truth that we're supplied and supported, we're opening up doors for greater good. Every single thing that's an obstacle when properly approached becomes a stepping stone to something wonderful. So, examples of reframing. You've heard this one before. I was in business my 40s and 50s, and I would call my father all the time because I had way too much going on. And I always had problems, and he would know that I'd be calling every morning. And it was always, "Good morning, Gregory. What exciting challenges do you have today?" And then it caused me to smile because he was reminding me of the truth. The problems in my life, properly understood, are not really problems. Every one of them are stepping stones. And if it's in your life, it's in your consciousness, you also have the power to transcend it, transmute it, and it's there for you to learn something. So, what exciting challenges do you have today? I'll have you have that thought. And then start to think of these, otherwise known as problems, as exciting challenges. So the younger generation, like that would be my grandchildren if I had them, would ask me if I'm a lover or I'm a hater. So I ask you the question the kids would ask you, are you a hater or are you a lover of life? So which is it? Or are you somewhere in between? Or another one would be, where are you coming from? Are you coming from, we're doing a lot of complaining and whining and bitching. Where are you coming from? Because to a large extent, that will determine where you are going. Where you're coming from will determine to a large extent where you are going. Or the kids would also say, what's your vibe? So I ask you the question, what's your vibe? Are you vibing with love? Or they'd want to know if you're a hater. So Bill Tolliver years ago in the 90s would have asked it a different way. He would say, are you a lifter or are you a learner? Whatever the heck that's going on within you, I want you always to remember, whatever your experience, whatever you're creating in your world with people, you're part of it. You want to say to yourself, it's only a thought I'm having. And a thought can always be changed. So you have that power. So let's be resolved with some of the points I've given you, the first half of this lesson, to ask ourselves quietly, deeply, more often, what is the good in this situation? What is the good in this situation for me? Challenge yourself to reframe it so you can see that there's a gift. The gift might be simply, I deserve much better. The gift might be, look, this is a pattern, and I'm resolved to step up and move forward. Let's be resolved to find the gift in every one of these situations, would be my suggestion for today. Let's be completely resolved to find the gifts, because every encounter is a holy encounter, and even when it doesn't seem holy, there is a gift in it for you. So please, as you practice this teaching, don't make your problems about other people. Understand that whatever is happening in life is happening for you. If you can reframe your experience so you can see it that way, oh, the places you will go. You can't lose with this stuff, as Dr. Ike used to say. So build on always the good that you have and the gratitude you can express. There is good. You know that deeply, anybody who's in our classes. You live, you move, and you have your being in this good. You are one with good. So why go into those stories that would suggest you're anything less than wonderful? Okay, so drop it. Build on the good that's there, the good that's certain, the truth of who you are. Whole, complete, and wonderful. Love, as I said recently, is all around, and so is goodness. Your challenge is to find that good and see that good. That's where gratitude comes in. Yes. Find it. Expressing thanks may be one of the simplest ways for you to feel physically and emotionally better. And I'm not talking, if you know me, to some God above. I'm just talking about, in my inner being, finding a way to express thanks or gratitude will heal my body, it will heal my consciousness, it will improve my mentality. A word came to mind when I was preparing this presentation yesterday. I thought, well, when I was younger, I used to talk a lot about enthusiasm. Enthusiasm's still really an important idea because the very word is like being filled with spirit. And I thought also, I was thinking of the holiday of Thanksgiving, and it's an important concept. It goes back to 1621, Plymouth, Massachusetts, when the colonists gave thanks for their very survival, getting through a winter, and for a good harvest. There are huge rewards and mental health benefits that come from cultivating gratitude. And it's so easy to go the other way, I know, but there's huge benefits that come from creating and cultivating this gratitude within. And sometimes it's tough for people to get there. I've known people in my own life, as I've worked with people over the years, both clients and in various centers, churches, where they have this Chicken Little thing going on within them. And Chicken Little's cry was, "The sky is falling." And no matter what the heck you might try to suggest to them, the sky is still falling. And it's very, very difficult for people to get to gratitude. But, you've got to try. No, I'll correct myself. You really don't have to do anything. But it would be really smart, step by step, wherever you are, you begin the process of becoming grateful. So this is a bit of a mental workout for people. In any workout, you set some kind of a goal, right? I'm going to start to get grateful. I'm going to write a list. I'm going to talk to one person a day. I'm going to go out of my way to say thank you to people. You start somewhere. If you're a person who tends to whine, complain, do guilt, all that stuff, if that's kind of like how you're showing up, learn to challenge yourself to try another way, for God's sake, right? Come on, you're all smart. Bill Tolliver had a very important talk. You've heard me talk about it forever. He put on a marquee, "Don't die dumb." This whining and complaining is a way of living that really doesn't pay the kind of dividends you want. One of my old lines, which I love, and please know with me today that there is always, always, always something to be grateful for. So start today with just one thing. Start even with the smallest thing. Start with the fact that you're sitting in a Zoom call and you're listening to some positive information. Start by admiring and being grateful for your cat or your dog or the view out your window or your pleasant disposition if you have one. Be grateful, seriously. So make a list and let that list multiply and grow. And as you do, you'll see how things will start to shift. Refer to the list as often as you can. It's suggested that you do so in the morning for a good reason, and for the evening for another good reason. If you review it before you sleep, your dream quality is going to change. Okay, and you're going to wake up in a different state of consciousness. If you're going to sleep with troubles and worries, first of all, you will not sleep as well. Second of all, your subconscious will be working out all that in your dreams. But can you imagine what it would be like if you systematically read yourself your gratitude list or contemplated on your blessings? If you did that as a spiritual practice before you went to sleep, your blood pressure would change, your dreams would improve, you'd wake up in a different place. I told you all that I did a intervention in Fort Lauderdale in a program where people were ex-convicts, and I had the joy of counseling them for 6 months before they could be released into society. And I had those folks work on gratitude. They almost wanted to kill me while I was, insisting that they start. But eventually everybody got on board. And that very process, though it was hard to get it started, turned so many people's lives around. it really turned that whole program around to the point where the program director wanted to know what I was doing different that the other people weren't doing, because the group that I had of 20 men were transforming the entire place. And it really all came from making a list and acknowledging the list, writing the list. So as we consider the idea of gratitude, and as we start to practice it, we're beginning to transform ourselves with this simple, life-changing process. The word gratitude, incidentally, comes from a Latin word, gratia, if I'm saying it correctly, which means grace. Gratia, which means grace. Graciousness or gratefulness. In some ways, gratitude encompasses all of these meanings. Gratitude is a thankful appreciation for what an individual receives, whether it's a tangible thing or it's an intangible thing. With gratitude, people acknowledge the goodness in their own lives. In the process, people usually recognize that the source of that goodness lies in their connection with their source, with life, with nature, and with other people. Gratitude helps people connect to something bigger than themselves. And we know, and we're a part of that. Gratitude will help you make that connection. In psychology, gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. Gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions. It releases all kinds of things in your brain to bring forth greater sense of well-being experiences. And people's health improves, and they're able to deal with adversity much better too. And of course, gratitude builds much stronger relationships throughout your life. People will find and express gratitude in all kinds of ways. They can apply it to the past by retrieving positive memories and being thankful for the people in your life that have shaped you. We can apply gratitude to the present and really see that as bad as we thought we've had it, we really have it pretty good. We can think about the future with gratitude more optimistically by maintaining a hopeful and optimistic mindset where, as religious scientists, we face the future with positive expectancy. So that's gratitude. Regardless of what's going on in your life, wherever you are with gratitude, what I'm suggesting today, which was part of my presentation last week, let's level it up. Let's level up with gratitude. Now, some of you I know are very grateful, and I am a lot of the time, but I can promise you I could be more grateful. The question is, I'd ask you, do you think you could become more grateful? Could you actively level it up a notch? So it might seem silly or contrived when I say this, and some of you will say, oh, I've heard this before. Why isn't he talking about something else? But it's an important thing. Because this mental state will grow stronger and stronger the more you practice it. No matter where you are in a scale of gratitude, for example, it's something that you can increase or take up a level. It's something that you can increase or take up a level. It is a superpower that we can successfully cultivate always. There's been a lot of research on gratitude. I'll go over a little of it right now. In one study, they asked all the participants to write sentences each week focusing on particular topics. One group wrote about things that they were grateful for that had occurred during the week. Another group wrote about daily irritations. Now, can you imagine if I were focusing on the things all week that bothered me, what I would be creating? The group that wrote about the things that they were happy about, grateful about, had a different outcome. And a third group wrote about the events that had affected them with no emphasis on being positive or negative. It was just a report. Studies have shown that those who wrote about gratitude were more optimistic and they felt better about their lives. No surprise, right? Interestingly, they also exercised more. The people are grateful. They exercised more, they ate better. And they saw their physicians less, and their health was improving. Another leading researcher in this field was a Dr. Sigelman from UPenn in another study. And he had people do an assignment. And the assignment was to write and personally deliver a letter of gratitude to someone that they had never properly thanked for their kindness. Now, here's the thing I learned from that study. Every single participant immediately exhibited a huge increase in their happiness scores. In writing this letter, they all experienced an increase in their sense of happiness. This impact was greater than from any other type of intervention that they were going through, or any other intervention in the study. And it lasted for some period of time. Studies on this topic support an association between gratitude and an individual's well-being. Gratitude in the study improved all relationships. For example, a study of couples found that the individuals who took the time out to find their partners and express gratitude for their partner not only felt more positive towards the other person, but they also felt more comfortable expressing any concerns they had about the relationship, because their relationship is one of building each other up. And it had increased honesty, so they could also be open up about how their feelings were. In business, the best managers will remember to say thank you, or go out of their way to say thankful to people who work with them. These employees generally will work better, harder, longer, with greater enthusiasm. Researchers at the Wharton School of Business divided university fundraisers in another study into two groups. One group made phone calls to solicit alumni donations in the same way they always had, and the second group received a huge pep talk from the director of the annual giving program. And she told the fundraisers that she was so grateful for what they were doing and their efforts. Now, you already know what the answer to this. During the following period, the university employees who heard the message of gratitude made 50% more calls, successful fundraising calls, than those who did not. So there are few, if any, exceptions to the positive results in the research on gratitude. Okay. On a practical basis, how can we get there? How do we cultivate this attitude of gratitude? Gratitude is a way for people to appreciate what they have instead of always reaching for something they don't have. Looking for something outside of you, some new shiny thing, person, or job to make you feel fulfilled. Or thinking that they can't feel satisfied until every physical and material need is met. And although it may feel contrived at first, this mental state of gratitude grows stronger and stronger the more you do it. Here's one that my mother used to do. I didn't know how brilliant she was. I did in a way, but I didn't really know how brilliant she was until I've thought about her for the past decade. She every night was sitting in her little study, listening to TV a little bit, and she always had a stack of envelopes. And I said, "What are you doing?" And they were always thank you notes that she was writing for the people she encountered during the week, what they said, how they impacted her. And she was doing that for years. Now, it's no coincidence that the lady turned out being as successful as she was for so many years. And she was just quietly just sending out the thank you notes. My friend Pat Amy in Florida, her practice is everybody she sees, she looks at and she smiles at them, and she acknowledges them. These little things are not so little when they're done over time, because it makes you feel better, and it probably is going to open up doors to great success too. So writing a thank you note will make you happier, and it will nurture your relationships with other people by expressing your enjoyment and appreciation of that person in your life. The suggestion in the study was send it, or better yet, if you got this is what my father used to do with my mother, read it to the other person. Bring the card and read it to them. If you've got a little bit of a ham in you, do that. You watch how the whole world will change. So for your benefit, make a habit of sending at least one, this is the suggestion from the study, for your benefit, make a habit of sending at least one gratitude letter a month. And once in a while, write one to yourself, because this is where it all begins, loving yourself. That's what we talk about every Thursday night. And if you're a little lazy, like I might be, thank someone mentally, because on some level, we're all connected. Thank the people that come to mind. Thank them, thank you. No time to write. The study said it would help just to think about someone who has done something for you and mentally thank that person. Another good way is keep a gratitude journal. There's a huge benefit in that study in terms of long-lasting effects of gratitude for the people who wrote the stuff down. Make it a habit to write it down. And see, if you're writing it down and you're talking about it, then your whole world is starting to shift towards the positivity. If you can imagine I'm journaling every day about my gratitude, I'd probably be talking to Joseph and Jimmy and Averill and all, my conversation would start to shift. Which I probably ought to do right now, considering what's going on in this building. I've got to find a way to see the good in this. I'm completely determined. So we want to count our blessings. We want to pick a time, say, okay, I'm going to do this on Friday mornings or Saturdays. Pick a time where you're going to do it. In other words, find a way to really have it happen. And if you're having trouble getting started, tell yourself, I'm going to make a list of 5 things each week. Some of you may want to do more. And challenge yourself to stick to it, to count your blessings. And if you want to even go deeper, the next suggestion from the study is, as you write your items down, be specific and think about the sensations you feel when something good has happened. Allow yourself to feel it, not just write it. The next suggestion is meditate mindfully, focusing on the present moment, and focus on what you're grateful for. The warmth of the sun, your granddaughter, your son, your friends, the fact that you have health and you have a good mind and that you can appreciate so much. Expressing thanks may be one of the simplest and most profound ways to change your life and to feel better. There's other insights that came from the research that I prepared. I'll gloss over a couple. Gratitude has the ability to unshackle you from any toxic emotions that you have. Okay? If you're holding on to people, places, and things, knowing you're supplied and supported, gratitude will help you unshackle yourself from toxic emotions and let you let go. I'm skipping through the study because there's many, many pages here. There's mental health benefits of all kinds associated with writing gratitude letters to people. And the other thing that comes up in the studies, it doesn't even matter if you send the letters to people. Of course, it's better if you send them. It's even better if you express it to them. But there's benefits in just writing the letters, okay, whether you mail them or not. One study showed that. Gratitude's benefits work miracles over time. If you start even this week doing it, you'll feel better this week. If you do it consistently over a few months, you won't even know yourself, probably. Because you're basically living the affirmative life, and you're going to, raise your vibration. You're going to step up everything if you can do this more often. One study says I'm skimming through, the bottom line is this: if you participate in gratitude, the writing activity, you will feel better almost immediately. And be patient, keep at it, and it will increase exponentially. It has lasting effects on the brain. The study went on and showed the people 3 months later, their health was better. They did MRI studies on their brain, and they could even see how it had really changed their brain. So all this indicates simply that expressing gratitude may, and most likely will have lasting effects on your health, your psychology, your brain. Regardless of whether you're facing psychological challenges or personal challenges, writing this letter will make a huge difference in cultivating this attitude. Much of our time and our energy is spent pursuing things we currently don't have. Gratitude reverses our priorities to help us come to a place of appreciation for the people and things that we already possess. We are wealthy in every way, and gratitude will bring you to an appreciation of all things. And so it is.